Semen retention is one of those ancient practices reborn in the modern age, wrapped in both mystery and science. In a world that lives on instant gratification, endless scrolling, and the dopamine chaos of social media, the idea of holding in your life force might sound outdated, even impossible. But what if the truth is the opposite? What if what we call old discipline is actually the most radical form of intelligence upgrade available to a modern man? At the heart of semen retention lies a single concept: energy transmutation. The seed energy that once created life can also recreate your mind. When this vital force is preserved, the body doesn't waste it through repeated dopamine crashes or hormonal depletion. Instead, it recycles and refines it, feeding the nervous system, nourishing the brain, and sharpening focus like a blade honed by stillness. The modern male brain is under siege. From overstimulation, constant sexual imagery, to the dopamine overdrive of quick pleasure, it is no longer built to focus, to hold a single thought in clarity. The ancient yogis knew this problem long before smartphones existed. They understood that excessive ejaculation leads to a drain of vital pranavi, life energy that fuels not just reproductive power, but mental clarity, willpower, and creativity. The modern translation of this truth lies in neuroscience. Every orgasm triggers a massive dopamine spike followed by a sharp crash. This crash makes the brain crave another hit. The man becomes restless, distracted, foggy, and addicted. It's not the act itself that enslaves him, but the cycle of release and regret that strips him of focus. Semen retention interrupts that cycle. It rebuilds the brain's dopamine sensitivity. In the first weeks of retention, the mind rebels. The body craves its old comfort. But as the brain recalibrates, something remarkable begins to happen. Mental stillness returns. The prefrontal cortex, the seat of higher thinking, becomes more active. The reward system in the brain stabilizes, motivation rises not from impulse but from purpose. This is where the real transformation begins. You no longer chase pleasure, you create it. The longer a man practices semen retention, the more his brain adapts to this new equilibrium. Energy that was once lost through constant stimulation now powers deep thinking and creative insight. Great minds across history, Nikola Tesla, Leonardo da Vinci, Swami Vivekananda, spoke of the mysterious power of sexual energy when retained and redirected. Today, neuroscience calls it neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to rewire itself. Retention gives the brain the resources to do exactly that. The energy that would have been expelled becomes the raw material for new neural connections. Focus sharpens, memory strengthens, emotional stability deepens. Men begin to feel a quiet confidence, not the shallow arrogance that needs validation, but the grounded confidence that radiates from inner strength. In modern life, semen retention becomes a weapon against digital chaos. Every advertisement, every algorithm, every flashing screen is designed to hijack male attention through lust. It's not just about sex, it's about control. A distracted man is a weakened man, but a man who controls his sexual impulse controls his mind. Whoever controls his mind controls his destiny. Semen retention rewires the reward system so that the brain finds satisfaction in long-term goals rather than instant pleasures. This is not superstition, it's biology. Dopamine pathways are like roads in the brain. Every time you choose quick pleasure, you reinforce the shorter road. Every time you choose discipline, you carve a new highway toward self-mastery. Over time, these pathways change your entire mental landscape. In the modern world, focus is the new currency. The man who can hold his attention wins. Semen retention gives him that edge. As weeks turn into months, the brain begins to operate at a higher baseline of clarity. Sleep deepens. Thoughts slow down. Anxiety decreases. Testosterone levels stabilize. This hormonal stability feeds the brain with a consistent energy supply, which supports neurotransmitters like serotonin, dopamine, and acetylcholine, key chemicals for learning and focus. What emerges is a man who is not reactive but responsive. He doesn't seek validation through lust. He commands respect through presence. People can sense it, his energy, his calmness, his unspoken power. In the modern corporate world, this manifests as superior performance, while others burn out chasing distractions. He remains centered, productive, efficient in relationships. He no longer operates from neediness. His brain is no longer starved for dopamine. He listens more, speaks less, radiates stability. Women instinctively sense the grounded masculine presence of a man who holds his seed. His gaze is steady. His voice carries depth. His body language commands attention. This is not mysticism, it's neurochemistry meeting spirituality. The brain of a man on retention becomes a powerhouse of focused energy. The amygdala, which governs emotional reactivity, becomes calmer. The prefrontal cortex gains control. The limbic system, the seat of desire, stops running the show. Instead, higher awareness takes over. The mind becomes an ally, not an enemy. The modern world rewards overstimulation with burnout. Retention reverses that. It brings back balance, mental strength, and intuitive intelligence. Creativity blooms because energy once wasted now flows upward through the spinal column, nourishing higher centers of the brain. In yogic science, this is described as ojas transforming into teja-sexual energy transmuted into spiritual brilliance. In modern terms, it's neuroendocrine regulation, the harmonious communication between hormones and the nervous system. The result, a mind that is sharper, calmer, and infinitely more resilient. Modern research supports this ancient truth. Studies show that temporary abstinence increases testosterone, enhances brain-derived neurotrophic factor (BDNF), and improves dopamine receptor sensitivity. These biological changes mirror the subjective experiences men report: heightened awareness, emotional stability, deep motivation. The longer one stays on this path, the more the brain adapts. It begins to conserve energy for higher tasks, strategic thinking, creativity, and self-reflection. The fog that once clouded thought begins to lift. Every morning feels like an awakening. But semen retention is not just about what you stop doing, it's about what you start becoming. You start seeing patterns in your behavior. You realize how many decisions were driven by lust rather than purpose. You notice that your energy, once scattered, now condenses into laser focus. That focus becomes power. It's the difference between living as a consumer of pleasure and as a creator of reality. The modern man often feels lost because his energy leaks in too many directions. Semen retention closes those leaks. It's like plugging holes in a vessel so the life force can rise, building internal pressure that fuels transformation. The brain begins to operate like a high-efficiency engine, less noise, more output. Tasks that once felt difficult become natural. Reading, studying, building, meditating, all activities that require sustained focus become effortless. The longer the retention, the more profound the effects around the 90-day mark. Many report a deep shift in perception. The mind stops chasing. Desires lose their grip. A state of deep equilibrium takes over. You no longer need to prove anything, you become. The confidence that grows from semen retention is not loud or boastful, it's quiet, magnetic, unshakable. People can sense it. This magnetic field is real. The brain, when fully charged, emits a stronger electromagnetic aura. Modern instruments can detect this through changes in brainwave coherence and heart rate variability. Retention increases coherence between brain hemispheres, meaning logic and intuition begin to work together. You start thinking with clarity and feeling with intelligence. This is the ideal human state: balanced, whole, awake. But make no mistakes, semen retention is not easy in the modern world. Every app, ad, and distraction is designed to break your focus. That's why this path is for warriors. The moment you choose retention, you step out of the herd. You choose mastery over mediocrity. The brain initially resists. Urges arise. Thoughts intensify. This is where transformation begins. Each time you overcome an urge, new neural circuits of discipline are formed. You're literally rewiring your brain for strength. The same energy that once enslaved you now empowers you. Gradually, lust becomes fuel for creativity. Anger transforms into purpose. Doubt dissolves into clarity. You begin to see how retention is not suppression, it's redirection. It's the art of converting raw desire into refined awareness. In neuroscience, this is called top-down regulation, where higher brain centers control lower impulses. In spirituality, it's called mastery of the senses. Both point to the same truth. When you conquer the lower self, you awaken the higher mind. In the modern era, this is revolutionary. The man who practices retention becomes rare. His eyes glow with awareness. His posture commands space. His speech carries conviction. He no longer needs attention finds him. This is the essence of charisma. Condensed, contained energy radiating outward. In terms of brain function, retention increases neural efficiency. The brain becomes better at filtering distractions, processing information, and sustaining deep work. Studies in cognitive psychology show that reduced impulsive behavior correlates with improved working memory and executive control. Retention amplifies both. It's like turning the noise of hundreds of scattered thoughts into the focused beam of a laser. This clarity spills into every area of life's business: creativity, spirituality, relationships. The same energy that creates life becomes the energy that creates destiny. Modern life celebrates consumption. Retention celebrates creation. Every retained drop becomes a thought, a plan, a vision. You start operating at a different frequency. People around you notice but can't explain it. It's not arrogance, it's alignment. You've tuned your mind to a higher channel. The result is not just better focus, but a deeper sense of purpose. The fog of confusion lifts. The brain becomes a temple again, not a battlefield. This is the new masculine renaissance, a return to self-mastery through biology and awareness. In the long run, semen retention not only enhances brain power but redefines identity. You realize your mind and body are not separate. They are one system governed by energy flow. When that flow is uninterrupted, creativity becomes effortless. Intuition sharpens. You make faster, wiser decisions. You no longer live in reaction. You live in creation. In a time where the average attention span is shorter than a goldfish's, semen retention makes you a mental giant. You stand still while the world rushes past. You think deeply while others skim the surface. You create while others consume. This is not celibacy for the sake of denial, its power through mastery. It's using the same force that once enslaved you to liberate you. Every ancient scripture hinted at this, and modern science is finally catching up. Retention balances neurotransmitters, stabilizes hormones, and optimizes the endocrine system. The brain, freed from overstimulation, becomes a superconductor of thought. You begin to experience flow states more often. Tasks that once drained you now energize you, because you've stopped leaking the very essence that fuels your being. In the end, semen retention is not about repression but evolution. It is about reclaiming control over the most powerful biological force within you and channeling it into higher intelligence. In a world that sells distraction, your discipline becomes rebellion. In a world drowning in noise, your silence becomes power. And in a time where attention is the most valuable currency, semen retention makes you rich beyond measure, not in money, but in mastery. The modern mind, refined by retention, becomes unstoppable. It sees through illusion, acts with clarity, creates with purpose. It becomes the source of light in a distracted age. That is the true impact of semen retention on brain power. It awakens the full potential of the human mind, transforming ordinary awareness into extraordinary brilliance. Before we conclude, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and do not forget to drop your location in the comments. I love to know where you are watching from, and if you ever have any questions, join our Telegram channel where we interact directly and help each other grow. The link is in the description.